I came back from a 10-hour flight dragging my suitcase up the driveway of my own mansion when the cops pulled up, lights flashing, neighbors staring, and one woman pointing at me like I was a criminal. That same woman, the former head of our HOA security committee, hadn't just called the police on me. She had been living inside my house for 2 weeks, eating my food, drinking my wine, even opening my mail. Act 1. The conflict begins. My name's Terrence Blakemore. I'm 38. I've lived in Maple Crest for years, and I worked hard for the home I own. It's not some vacation rental or Airbnb party pad, it's mine. But in this neighborhood, ownership doesn't stop some people from thinking they run the place. Her name is Lorraine Pritchard. Mid-50s, blonde, smug expression, like she's the sheriff of suburbia. She used to be on the HOA board, ran the security committee. Even after her term ended, she still walked around like she had a badge and authority. That Friday afternoon, I had just flown back from London. My body was stiff, my eyes dry, all I wanted was a shower and a quiet night. Instead, the moment I stepped out of my SUV, 2 patrol cars rolled up with sirens blaring. "Sir, step away from the door." I froze. "Excuse me, this is my house." The officer said they had had a call about suspicious activity. And when I looked across the street, there was Lorraine standing tall, chin up, arms crossed like she'd caught a burglar. I showed my license, the deed, even offered to unlock the door right there. They checked everything, confirmed it was mine, handed me my ID back with an apology. But it wasn't over, not even close. Because the moment I pushed open the front door, I knew something was wrong. The air didn't smell like a locked-up house. It smelled like lavender candles and chicken stew. On the floor by the foyer, women's sandals I'd never seen before. Act 2. Escalation and turning point. I stepped inside, suitcase wheels rolling across the tile, and froze again. A wine bottle half empty on the coffee table. Lipstick smudges on the glasses. My guest blanket draped over the couch like someone had just napped there. I turned to the officers. "Does this look empty to you?" Lorraine stepped in, voice sharp. "I was safeguarding it, making sure nothing happened while you were gone." Safeguarding. She'd been living there. The fridge was stocked with groceries I didn't buy, leftovers in containers I didn't own, and a mug with cereal milk still sitting in the sink. Then I found her bags. Suitcases lined against the wall, laundry folded on the guest bed, even a framed photo of Lorraine and her girlfriends smiling with wine glasses raised. My guest wing had been turned into her personal hotel suite. When I confronted her, she didn't flinch. I had a key, back when I chaired the committee. That hit me hard. She'd kept a spare key from years ago and never returned it. She had called the cops on me while she was the one squatting in my house. Neighbors were pouring out now, phones up, whispering. Some of them laughed, some muttered about how Lorraine was just looking out for the neighborhood. My humiliation was public, and she was still acting righteous. The cops made her pack her things, but even then, I caught her stuffing bottles of my Cabernet into her suitcase plates from my grandmother's set wrapped in bubble wrap. And when I called her on it, she said she was keeping them safe. Safe. From who? From me. That night, after everyone had left, I sat in my living room staring at the mess, lipstick-stained glasses, crumbs on my favorite chair, my own mail half opened on the nightstand. And I asked myself, is it worth it? Should I just let it go? Because that's what people always say. Don't stir the pot. Don't make enemies. Don't drag neighbors to court. Keep the peace. But what kind of peace is it when someone takes over your home, trashes your reputation, and half the block treats you like the problem? For a moment I felt beaten. Maybe if I stayed quiet it would fade. Maybe if I ignored it she'd move on. That's when Victor showed up. Victor Delmar. 70-something, been here longer than anyone, cane in one hand, terrier in the other. He knocked on my door and said if you don't stand up now, she'll never stop. People like her, they don't learn from silence. They learn when somebody finally says no. He told me he'd seen her sneaking groceries into my house the week before, thought maybe I'd asked her to. Now he realized she was lying to everyone. That was the moment it clicked. If I didn't fight back, this wasn't just my humiliation, it would become my reputation. And Lorraine would walk around this neighborhood like she owned me too. HOA meeting showdown. The next HOA meeting was standing room only. Usually those things are boring budget for the pool, new paint colors, landscaping arguments. But not that night. Lorraine raised her hand right away. I want to address the smear campaign against me. She said I was blowing things out of proportion, that she'd acted in the best interest of Maple Crest. A few neighbors nodded, but others shook their heads. I stood up. My voice was steady, but I could feel the anger underneath. You lived in my home without permission. You drank my wine. You opened my mail. You told people I abandoned my property. That's not a misunderstanding, Lorraine. That's trespassing. Gasps, murmurs. One neighbor, Iris, stood up and said Lorraine told her I had given permission. That was a lie. Another Victor confirmed he'd seen her carrying groceries inside. For the first time, Lorraine's face cracked. She sat down, arms folded, lips tight. The president of the HOA cut it off, said it was a legal matter, not HOA business. But the damage was done. Half the room now doubted her. Act 3. The climax. I drove downtown the next Monday morning and filed charges with the county attorney, trespassing, unlawful possession of a key, tampering with mail. It felt anticlimactic at first, just paperwork and a signature, but I knew the real explosion would be back here in the neighborhood, and I was right. That weekend, Lorraine showed up at the end of my driveway. She crossed her arms, lowered her voice, and said, "You really want to do this? People here trust me. You've only been here 4 years. Every time someone tried to fight me, they either moved or learned to stay quiet." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because of how absurd it sounded. "You're actually threatening me on my own property." She smirked. "Not a threat, a reality check." I leaned in and said, "Reality check for you. I've managed to live here without breaking into anyone's house, without stealing wine, without opening mail that isn't mine. This isn't neighborly concern. It's squatting. And it ends now." Her jaw tightened, but I was done. When the official summons was served to her front door, neighbors saw. Some turned away, some whispered, but everyone knew. At the next HOA meeting, Lorraine sat in the middle row, silent. No interruptions, no smug speeches, no bossing people around. Her power gone. And for the first time I looked her way and saw not arrogance, not confidence, but fear. Closing line. Peace without respect isn't peace, it's just quiet submission.